What's the biggest mistake people make when expanding expressions? Expanding expressions might seem straightforward, but there's a massive mistake that almost everyone falls into. Do you know what it is? Stick around and I'll reveal how to dodge this pitfall, making sure your expansions are flawless every time. Welcome back to the pyramids of algebra. These are the concepts we've already mastered, and now it's time to conquer expanding algebraic expressions. In my years of teaching algebra, I've developed two key strategies that will unlock your understanding and making expanding expressions not only simple, but something you can master with confidence. Starting with the first key. The most common mistake occurs because students forget the skills of multiplying integers. Can you remember these rules? For the following scenarios, will the answer be positive or negative? Pause the video and give it a go. Here are the answers. Remembering these ideas ensures that you don't make the common mistakes. So what exactly is expanding algebraic expressions, and why do we even need to learn this? Expanding is the process of removing the brackets from an algebraic expression. This skill is critical to learn because it is needed when we solve problems that involve equations with brackets. As well as it helps us simplify our algebraic expressions, or in other words, allows us to create simpler, easier to use formulas. There are two methods that could be used to complete this skill. Let's learn the first way. Let's consider this expression. When there is a term outside the bracket, there is a hidden operation between the bracket and the term. Can you guess what it is? It's multiplication, exactly like our lesson 1's abbreviation when we have a number next to a variable. We don't need to write the multiplication sign. Until you master this concept, it helps to write the multiplication sign to remind you that it is multiplying. If the expression is essentially multiplying, and multiplying is another way of thinking of groups of that object, this is just 4 groups of w plus 6. How do we write 4 groups of w plus 6? It would look like this. And we can now collect the like terms. Firstly, collect the w terms, giving us 4w, then collecting all the 6's, which equals 24. This gives us an expression 4w plus 24. Notice there are no more brackets. We have expanded the algebraic expression. However, there is one drawback to this method. Imagine if the term outside was 45 groups of w plus 6. Writing this might take a long time, as well as increase the chances of making a mistake. So to avoid these two problems, we need to learn the second method. Let's learn the second method in the second key. Let's start with something simple with numbers and then see how it works for algebra. If I asked you what 4 times 56 is, what is a trick that can be used to answer this without a calculator? One trick is breaking up the second term. We could go 4 times the bracket of 50 plus 6. Then we could use the distributive property and multiply the 4 by the 50, then multiply the 4 by the 6, which is 200 plus 24, equaling 224. I know you might be thinking, why do we need to use this method when I could have used a calculator from the start? Remember, algebra is working in maths when you don't know the value of the variables, so calculators can't be used. Let's now consider this expression. If we had 4 times the bracket of w plus 6, even though we have variables in the expression, complete the question exactly like before. Distribute and multiply the term outside by each term inside the brackets. Starting with 4 times w, this just equals 4w, then multiply 4 times 6, which equals 24. Did you notice that this is the same question and answer that we looked at in method 1? So to expand algebraic expressions, multiply the outside term by every term in the brackets. 3 times x equals 3x. Then positive 3 times positive 2 equals 6. A fun way to remember the process of expanding is thinking of it like unpacking a suitcase after a holiday, where the bracket is the suitcase and each term inside the brackets is an item of clothing. When you unpack your suitcase, you take out every item of clothing and you don't miss anything. Exactly like expanding, when you need to multiply the outside term by each term inside and you don't miss any terms. You now know all the key information on this concept. However, can you solve all exam style questions? Watch this next video to master questions easily.